Claws up, bear down, red zone, let's go. C-H-I-C-A-G-O. Claws up, bear down, red zone, let's go. C-H-I-C-A-G-O. Claws up, bear down, red zone, let's go. C-H-I-C-A-G-O. Claws up, bear down, red zone, let's go. Swift in the back and Keenan in the slant. Cole back catching hands, DJ's burning past. C-H-I-C-A-G-O. Claws up, bear down, red zone, let's go. C-H-I-C-A-G-O. Claws up, bear down, red zone, let's go. C-H-I-C-A-G-O. Claws up, bear down, red zone, let's go.
Had you on mute. Ha! All right. Welcome back. If you guys liked that song, first things first, if you like that song, BG Pro Music, I'm going to put a link to that video from YouTube in the comments. He gave me permission to use that song. I'm going to be using it a lot more. I really like that song. Go over and view his video. Go over and view it. Check it out. Like it. Subscribe to him. Really cool work that he put together there. So really appreciate that from him. Welcome back. Free Talk Tuesday on a Wednesday. You're welcome. I'm always doing it when it's not Tuesday. Now, it's actually Tuesday for me right now. As I look down on my computer screen, it is 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night. Well, for you guys, it's actually, for many of you, most of you are in Chicago, are in the central time zone. So it is actually Wednesday for you. So I'm sorry that this is actually coming on a Wednesday. Hard Knocks is over. I said Free Talk Tuesday would be on a Tuesday from now on. It is not happening. Got a lot going on, and I wanted to watch the Cubs game tonight, guys. I had so many things, got the girls to bed. It was Cubs game time, and I said to myself, I'm watching this Cubs game before I get Free Talk Tuesday out, and then Free Talk Tuesday took the back seat. Had a lot of other stuff going on. I'm once again going out of town for another freaking wedding. Would everybody stop getting married? Would everyone stop getting married and dying and everything just going whatever? Deal with it. We all have stuff in our lives. But this, for those who aren't familiar with Free Talk Tuesday is an opportunity for me to rant and rave and give my opinions and share my thoughts and feelings about the Chicago Bears. This is where I get on and do it. This is where I open up about my feelings, my thoughts. You may not agree with me. You may agree wholeheartedly with me. You may think I'm off my rocker, or you might think, man, this guy is onto something. But this is where I get a chance to open up and share my thoughts on the Chicago Bears. I know a lot of people who are joining right now aren't necessarily Bears fans. Maybe one day I'll give thoughts on other teams, but right now I'm a diehard, dedicated Bears fan. And that's all I want to talk about. So I'm going to talk about the Chicago Bears. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, don't stop it. But if you do, if you decide to follow me on Twitter, please reconsider. I am not on Twitter to get followers. I'm not on Twitter to have 100,000 people following me. I'm not on Twitter for that purpose. I actually look at Twitter for breaking news from people like Brad Biggs or Adam Schefter or those around. And that's what I do with Twitter. But it's a place for me to see things, but it's also a place where I vent and I rant and my rave. Unlike Free Talk Tuesday, where it's almost therapeutic, where I vent a little bit more. So you'll see a little bit of a wild side of me. So if you like that kind of stuff, go ahead, follow me. Just don't hold it against me. Because I realize my opinion is not the same as every other person's opinion out there. We all have opinions. And that's what you might like about Free Talk Tuesday. Maybe that's what you think I'm crazy for. But there's a lot going around this team right now. And I'll tell you right now, I am so freaking happy with this Chicago Bears team. We are 1-0. And there's no other way to slice it up, but we are a 1-0 football team. We are 1-0. We are tied for the lead in the division with the Minnesota Vikings and with the Detroit Lions. And the Green Bay Packers are appropriately where they should be, where I've said they'll be all offseason. They are the gutter dwellers of the NFC North. They are garbage. They are trash. And that's where the Packers belong. The end. End of that story. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that today. But there's a lot of stuff out there to unpack. There's a lot of people talking about how this offensive line is trash. This offensive line is horrible. We need to replace our center right off the bat. He needs to be gone. Caleb Williams wasn't worth the number 1 overall pick. He is just like every other rookie out there. There's nothing special or generational about him. Can't help you guys with some of these things. It's 1 week into the season. We're 1 week into the season. And all I'm going to say, and I'll say a lot more, obviously. All I'm going to say It is way too freaking early for people to be on this end of the diving board and this end of the diving board. Need to be right here in the middle, people. Need to be right here in the middle because it is way too early for this crap. We said it right off the gate. Last week in Free Talk Tuesday, I told you guys, if we start this season 0-2, it is not time to panic. This team could very easily start 0-2. With the Colts and the Rams right after that, this team could start 0-4, and I could still see this team being 7-4 after 11 weeks. Now, I'm not saying that's where we are. Not at all. In fact, there's a lot of things that are going our way right now. If you haven't seen it, the Colts just had Juju Brents, the rookie last year that was picked just ahead of Tyreek Stevenson, who I think Tyreek Stevenson was a better deal. If you don't know my view on Tyreek Stevenson by now, go watch a couple videos because I put so many out, and I am the front runner on the Tyreek Stevenson hype train. Tyreek Stevenson's a stud, and I love Tyreek Stevenson. Absolute beast. 13th in the league so far through 1 week. But if you compound that with last year's last half of the season, Tyreek Stevenson is right there with Jalen Johnson as a 1-2 combo punch, the best cornerback combo punch in the entire National Football League. And I hold my reputation to that comment. I truly believe these two are a 1-2 combo punch that are rivaled by very few. Very few teams rival us at the top of the cornerback value chart. We have the two best. Two of the best. 1-2 punch, the best. But two of the best in the entire league. So it's way too early to be saying the Bears are a bust. The Bears are amazing. The Bears are going to the Super Bowl. The Bears are going to have the number 1 overall pick. The Bears need to replace their quarterback. The Bears blah, 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 blah. Too much. I'm going to show you some things today. Here is pass block efficiency for the last couple of years. Since Ryan Poles took over as GM of the league. Look on the left, 2022. 29th in the entire National Football League at 82.5 pass block efficiency grade. Basically, pass block efficiency is how well your offensive linemen, your front 5 guys there, block for their quarterback. The least amount of pressures allowed per snaps in the league. Now, all you're hearing is narratives right now about how Coleman Shelton is trash. Coleman Shelton is garbage. We need to replace him. He looked horrible on Sunday. Now, I'm on Twitter. This is where I'm bringing up Twitter. And I'm telling people, I've watched game film 3 times. It's like a popular thing right now. Honestly, this is what it feels like. It's popular for one person to say something, and then the rest of Twitter, the rest of the fan base to jump on that bandwagon because there's one highlight that's pointed out that shows a player doing a bad thing. Coleman Shelton had one bad play. Now, he had a couple bad plays, but one bad play that made everyone go crazy psychotic over him. As a stunt, second or third play of the game, where he went over to help and already double teamed. The stunt came around the backside, right up the gut, right up the middle, got the sack on Caleb Williams. It was ugly. Bad job. Bad Coleman. Don't do it again. Bad, naughty. Don't do it again. Then there's another one comes out where the linebacker blitzes right up the middle. And Coleman Shelton has his foot caught by Tevin Jenkins. Oopsie. Those guys will get it together. They'll figure it out. Gets his foot caught. Trips backward. But if you don't catch that, it looks like he's just absolutely getting pancaked. Slam-based. Waylaid. Boom. Linebacker comes up and just flattens him out. He's gone. He's toast. Looks like he's terrible. Coleman Shelton had 3 bad plays the entire game. His pass block efficiency wasn't bad. His entire PFF grade was 65. I tell you guys, 65 is definitely starter grade. 60 and above is starter grade. 75 is really good starters. 90 is elite. Then people come out and say, well, I've watched it. I watched the tape, and I see that he looks terrible. And PFF obviously has something wrong. Yeah, PFF isn't a perfect grading system. I've said that. I 100% agree with that. PFF is not a perfect grading system. But as a whole, it does give you a good viewpoint, which is why I use it so much and why I bring it up on here. I was reading for it. 2023, we were 26th in the league at 81.1. So even though our pass block efficiency was worse, there were more teams worse than us in the league. One of the biggest black marks on us. You've already seen it on the screen. If you haven't and you're just listening, I'm going to say it. The Bears, through 1 week, had the 4th best pass block efficiency in the National Football League, a 90.9 pass block efficiency grade. They allowed 5 pressures and 1 sack. There were 2 sacks in the game, but 1 sack on the line. The other one was on Caleb. Caleb didn't play great. Not bashing on Caleb. You've already seen the video, and man, I worded the headline of that so poorly that people didn't watch the video, and they came on. They came for my head. They were done with me, and I had to rename it. This is a pro Caleb Williams video, so people understood. I'm trying to point out. Yes, Tyson Bagent. Yes, Justin Fields played better than Caleb did in week 1, and they. If Tyson would have played, he would have played better than Caleb Williams. The point of that, if you actually watch the entire video, was that he was a rookie in his very first game, and that's how these things go. And people have to get over it. The point, the biggest point, he didn't turn the ball over. And a rookie quarterback hasn't done that, especially a number 1 overall quarterback hasn't done that since Jared Goff. And Jared Goff didn't start a game until November. So he sat on the bench and watched several games and was able to learn and get calm and collected and be able to have some experience on the bench before he was actually put into the game. Every other quarterback has turned the ball over. Caleb Williams managed this game. He did okay. No, he wasn't terrific. He missed several open receivers. He was a little bit slow on his timing, but I'll show you a couple things on here too. He wasn't bad. He wasn't bad either. Didn't do a bad job. Got the ball out in 2.75 seconds. Middle of the pack, about 16th in the league. Justin Fields was still 3-point, but 3.2 something. He's number 2 in the league, but he also played very well as well. And I know some people are sick of Justin Fields being brought up, but what I'm saying, Caleb Williams did help with this line. He did help the pass block efficiency. He got it out in 2.77 seconds. 16th in the league. He got it out quicker. Now, once he gets more comfortable, once he and Shade Waldron get up to speed, once they get things flowing and ebbing, it's going to be a little bit better. He's going to be able to release it quick and be on target. Now, he wasn't on target. He missed some easy ones. He also had a couple drops. I get it. It wasn't all on him. But he did miss some things. He missed a couple reads, couple to roam over the middle where he could have had some easier checkdowns and a couple easier plays. Now, that defensive unit from the Titans, I think, is a really good unit, and I think they're going to have a good year. So, I mean, the offense is a whole different story. But Caleb wasn't facing the offense. Caleb was facing the defense. And that defense is a decent defense. They've built that defense up. Look at the players on that defense, especially the defensive front and the new defensive backs that they've got. They're going to be okay. The Titans are going to be competing on the defensive side of the ball. With Will Levis passing the ball, I don't know if that's going to be the same story. All right, so this is what I want to do through the season. I do want to track this. Now, it's not going to look good for the first couple weeks. I get that, but I'm not going to duck away from it just because he had a bad week. It's going to be fun as we go along and we see this thing improve. He's got 16 more weeks in the season, and I still think he's going to get there. So, number 1, yards. We want to see him break the 4,000. 38 is the Bears record. He's at 93 yards through 1 week. Not glorious. It also doesn't cripple him. We're fine. Second, touchdowns. 30 is where we want to break. 29 is the Bears record. 0 touchdowns so far. And then completion percentage, 67% is the Bears record. I would like to see him break. It would be fun. This one's not that important. He's at 48.3 right now. All right, so we'll do this as we go along. The other tracking, the chase to 1,000 yards. You got DJ Moore at 36 there. Move me off the screen just for a minute. You got Keenan Allen at 29, Rome Odunze with 11, and Cole Kmet with 4. How many are going to break 1,000? At this pace, none, but this is going to change really quick. Caleb's going to have his breakout game, and everybody's going to stop yakking and whining and complaining, and it's going to be just fine. It is going to be just fine. So will that happen this week? I don't know. With the Titans secondary, with the Texans secondary, it actually looks favorable for us this week. I think you could see some fun stuff. So I have changed my tune. Here was my predictions at the beginning of the season. Here's where I had us. I had us losing to the Texans. The defensive outing has changed my mind. And now I'm releasing this later on Wednesday, even though I'm recording it on Tuesday because I do my predictions in the morning. The algorithm is really stupid, guys. The algorithm is really weird. If I release 2 videos in the morning, they're going to compete against each other, and it's going to be stupid. So I'm releasing my prediction video in the morning, first thing. In fact, that's coming out really soon for you guys. I'll be asleep when it comes out. It'll be like 7:30 Chicago time. A lot of people, others outside of the Bears, actually watch that one too. And then I'll release this one in the afternoon so they don't compete against each other. But I've changed my tune. After the Bears have beaten the Texans or the Titans the way they do, I've actually got us beating the Titans or the Texans. You'll see that in the video in the morning. You'll see, you've probably already seen it. If you watched that video, if you didn't, go watch it. It's fine, whatever. Now, I'm going to put here, you see the little glow around by the Titans. That's what we won by. We won by 7. To start the year, I'll update this as we go along. This was how the Vegas odds were skewed. They had us at a ±9 to start. Before we got close to the season, it was ±8.5, and then it moved to 9. Now it's still sitting steady at 9. But if you really look at the individual games, it was ±11. That's where it really was. They've got us winning 11 games. Now, we were favored by, or we were underdog by 3.5 to the Texans before the season started. Now, after 1 week, we're going into this game as of Tuesday night as a 7-point underdog. That's a huge spread. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous to me. And I've got us beating the Texans. That's not going to be the point of this video or the highlight, but I'm going to update as we go along. So that's what I'm going to show. All right, so back to here, we got the tracking. And then the other thing I want to show, I'm going to move my mug off the screen for this. This doesn't look clean. Sorry, guys. It doesn't look clean. I'll clean it up for next week. I'm going to update the league leaders. So this is the defensive guys. And you see there's several guys that are on here multiple times. And this isn't clean, and I don't like that it's not clean. All right, now we're clean. I had to fix it. I'm sorry. OCD. I'm going to highlight as we go throughout the year league leaders on the defense. These are anyone who in different categories is a top 20 in the entire league. You heard Matt Eberflus talk about before the season, be one of the best 32 in the league. There's 32 teams, be one of the best 32 in the league. If you want to compete for a position, this is when he's talking about everyone competing for a position on the team. I'm going to do out of the entire league top 20 stats on the defense. The defense is where I'm really focused. I'm going to track the other ones for Caleb and the receivers going to 1,000 yards. That's what I'm interested in there. But I'm also going to hit these league leaders in the top 20, and there's a lot to be excited about with this team right now. So exciting. You look along the left side there, Jalen Johnson, number 1 in PFF coverage grade through 1 week at cornerback position, 92.0. Number 1 in NFL passer rating against, 2.8 at cornerback position. Jalen Johnson, number 8 PFF tackling grade. Now, that's different for Jalen Johnson. He's not usually the guy known for his tackling. That's Tyreek Stevenson. But he's in the top 8. He's 79.6 tackling grade. He had some good hits in the first week. Tyreek Stevenson, you can see there, number 14 in PFF coverage grade, 78.1 for cornerbacks. And number 20 in NFL passer rating against, 46.8 for cornerbacks. So he's right there as well. TJ Edwards, number 2, picking up where he left off. Same thing last year. PFF coverage grade, 91.5. Tremaine Edmonds, better, improved from last year. It's 1 week, guys. I get that it's 1 week, but I want to track this stuff through the year. I think you'll be interested to see this stuff as well. Number 17, PFF coverage grade, 74.7 for linebackers. Andrew Billings has got 3 of them here. Number 6 for PFF pass rush grade, 78.4 for defensive interiors. Tied for 13th for PRP pressure grade. That's PFF's pressure gauge for sacks, hits, and hurries, 9.1 for defensive interiors. And tied 10th for pass rush win rate at 18.2. That's huge. Jervon Dexter tied 2nd for sacks for defensive interiors with 1. With that, Darrell Taylor, bottom right, there it is. Tied 3rd in the league for sacks with 2 from the edge position. Also with Darrell Taylor, tied 8th for PFF pass rush grade, 77.4 for all edges. DeMarcus Walker getting a couple of top 20s as well. Number 9 for pass rush win rate, 25.0. And number 7 for PFF pass rush grade, 77.6 for all edges. So really fun to see this defense coming alive, swarming, looking really good. I'm going to track that as we go along for the season, along as with Caleb Williams and his stats as well. So let's bring Caleb Williams up to the stage. I made this video a while ago. The reason the Bears selected Caleb Williams, obviously the rookie contract was a big thing, but his clutchness, his 4th quarter from every drive, plus 33 rating, as well as in, I got rid of the other one, as well as 3rd and 4th down, and in the red zone, really, really solid by his part. So I'm going to show him throughout the year as well. This is how he ranks against other quarterbacks. It's not going to be pretty this week, but I'm not always going to show just the pretty stuff. I'm going to show everything, but I also want to reiterate, I am not harping on him because it was week 1 of a rookie contract, and everyone needs to understand he's going to come along. As you watch that film a second and a third time, you actually see some brilliant things that Shane Waldron was doing. It just didn't connect. I don't understand some things, why he didn't play Cole Kmet more or Khalil Herbert more. I'm sure he's smarter than me. I'm sure he understands more than I do, and I'm sure it's going to come together. But for week one, I actually saw some things I liked, and it really just came down to things just weren't clicking yet. They were not clicking, and they will click eventually. So a couple things I highlighted. Time to throw. You look down there at number 16. Caleb Williams was 2.75 seconds. The middle one, big time throw percentage. Caleb Williams all the way down. He had 0, but his turnover worthy plays was only 5.7. He actually did really well protecting the ball. There's only 1 or 2 passes that were a little errant that he had to worry about, but I don't think he really had concern over that. And then you look over here, he had 2 penalties, which led everyone week 1 for quarterbacks. And then let's see here. NFL passer rating on the far right there, Caleb Williams down at 55.7. So it's not glorious. Nothing good here. Nothing exciting to talk about, but I just want to reiterate. It's not the point. Not a big deal. All right. So let's add the stage. The last thing I want to show here for what we were just talking about, Darrell Taylor. I did a video on him before. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. But this only adds to it, so you don't even have to check it out. This just shows a little bit farther. Did we just get an absolute steal out of Darrell Taylor? The answer is yes. And you've seen it broken down by other people. This is from before when we signed him. We sent over a 6th-round pick for him. How the Seahawks didn't see his potential, I have no freaking clue. But let's hope he keeps it up all year. He's one of those guys, when you watch him on film, he's got high energy, high motor. So now I completely understand why Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus said, let's go get this guy and get it 100%. I've watched some of his old film now. I've watched his film from this game a couple times. He's got a motor. He's in there on every play. And if you didn't see the play where he caused the strip sack, he just walks away like Joker on Dark Knight, where he's just like, I caused that. Let them fight over it. I'm going to walk with pushing the bomb trigger from the hospital. It's freaking hilarious. Like, just he's confident, and I love it. And he's in on a lot of plays. So it's going to be fun to watch him throughout the year. Let's move me off of there. This is before this game, and now here's updated. This is Darrell Taylor through 1 week. Look at that top line. Now that looks really good. I realize it's 1 week. It's against the Titans offense, so there's only so much you can take from this. But 3 pressures, 2 sacks, 1 hurry, and 5 tackles. Looked really, really, really good. 1 forced fumble as well. Obviously, the strip sacks we talked about. So here is the entire Bears defensive line that I was worried about. That's what I want to show here. I was worried about this. Leading up to the season, this is the one big thing I said. In fact, I made a couple videos. Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson. The Bears have to trade for someone if they want to be serious about competing for the Super Bowl. This is what the Bears need to address. It's the one need that we have left that we didn't get taken care of. And boy, if there was not a front that was going to go trade for more pieces and make anything else other than Darrell Taylor and see how Austin Booker does, now they're definitely not. You're going to ride halfway through the season and see how these guys pan out. And I don't think they're going to have a huge amount. They're not going to have as much success. I mean, they were one of the best teams on the defensive line this first week. They're not going to have that much success week 2 against the Texans as they did against the Titans, but I see it being close. Really, you're going to see the secondary teeing off because there's opportunity there on the secondary, but C.J. Stroud is a little more difficult, obviously, than Will Levis. It's not like we're playing Will Levis every week. C.J. Stroud's a little different, but C.J. Stroud does put up a lot of 50-50 balls. He does do a lot of Hail Mary type throws, and this defense, Kevin Byard might have a bigger role this week. T.J. Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Jalen Johnson, and Tyreek Stevenson, obviously, they might have to do a lot more checkdowns if they want to have success against the Bears. Kyler Gordon might get picked on. Remember that as we go into the game, that I said it here, that might be where they have to be picked on. Now, I'm not saying that's their game plan. I'm not positive, but I'm saying that's the one place where C.J. Stroud could have some success in this game. But the defensive line, I pulled from 3 different places because I want to show the differences. It's not all this. They all have different things. It's weird. So ESPN has Darrell Taylor with 8 total tackles. But if you look over at NFL.com, they have 5 total tackles. And I didn't put PFFs. I have them more for their pass rush grades, their PRP, their win percentage, their total pressures. But they all differ. So it's weird how the stats from one place to another are different. But the positive is all these guys graded out really well. When Montez Sweat is your worst graded out player on the defensive front from game one of those who qualified with enough reps, Austin Booker didn't get in a lot in this game, and you didn't need to when you had Darrell Taylor playing the way that he was. So I mean that's a luxury, but I like that these guys all had enough motor to get through the game and they played really well. But we'll track this as we go through the year. So far, looks really good on the defensive line and not the big thing that I'm worried about. All right, so the offensive line. Let's talk about this a little bit more. I showed you guys they were fourth in pass block efficiency. Why do people get so crazy about things? Why do we want to point? We want to have someone to blame. We want to have a reason that Caleb had a bad game. And the reality is, the offensive line didn't play poorly. There were a couple of bad plays, probably 6 or 7 or 8 bad plays in total. And really, Caleb missed on a lot of things, so he's not going to keep doing that. But the biggest thing I'm seeing on social media is replace Coleman Shelton. Get Coleman Shelton out of here. We need to find someone else. We should have got Connor Williams. And I get it. I've been on that train. We should have signed Connor Williams. I felt like that. I think Coleman Shelton's actually a better fit year one. He's not coming back from injury. He has Super Bowl experience. He has a lot of experience. He has playoff experience. And all offseason, what you heard about Coleman Shelton was that he's a general on the field. He's pointing things out. He's helping the younger guys to grow. Doug Kramer specifically said Coleman Shelton helped him out. He's looked good all offseason. So why are we turning our backs after one game? Well, because the offense didn't score a touchdown. We got to blame someone. But the reality is, if you want to come in on week 2 and replace a center, I even see people saying, put Ryan Bates in at center. You've got Coleman Shelton that's built this rapport, that's built a cohesion with Caleb Williams. You want to see Caleb Williams struggle even more? Here's the one thing you do. Replace his center on game 2 during this week. Replace him. See how he adjusts again. He had that center all through training camp. Ryan Bates was hurt through most of the preseason. Coleman Shelton was taking those reps. Coleman Shelton was there game 1. And Coleman Shelton, by all accounts, has been a leader on that offensive line, pointing things out, being vocal, helping the younger guys, and being that presence. You want to see Caleb struggle in week 2? Rip out Coleman Shelton and put in Ryan Bates. Not saying Ryan Bates wouldn't do a fine job. I think he would do just about the same job as Coleman Shelton. It was week 1. Week 1. I don't know how many times that has to be reiterated, but it was week 1. Now, if Coleman Shelton is giving up multiple pressures per game and a sack every single game, then I've got an issue. Then I will say, okay, he's an aging vet. We tried it, didn't work. But this was 1 week. 1 week. 1 freaking week. Understand the big picture here. It might take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 weeks for this team to gel on the offensive side. Why did the defense gel so well? Because they were freaking clicking from last year already. We replaced one person. We replaced Eddie Jackson. I realized we replaced Justin Jones too, but really, Jervon Dexter was already getting up to speed by the end of the year. It was already his job taking it over. So that wasn't a huge replacement. That was already happening in transition. Montez Sweat, DeMarcus Walker, Andrew Billings, Jervon Dexter, that was basically the front. We didn't change anything at linebacker at all. Linebacker was exactly the same. Cornerbacks, exact same starters. Jaquan Brisker, he's still back there. The only difference was Kevin Byard replaced Eddie Jackson. That's it. So the fact that this defense was clicking on week 1, it's a good thing. They weren't right off the gate, just like any team has to get going in week 1 in the first game of the season. They had to get rolling with it. That's bothering me. I'm going to flip it around. Feeling funky on my head. There, a little more comfortable. So, no, I'm not concerned about the offense. Think about what turned over on the offense. Now, Tevin Jenkins wasn't healthy a lot of last year. Nate Davis was gone. Different issues a lot of last year. Different centers completely. But the line, they should be all right. That's probably why they were 4th in pass block efficiency week 1, because there wasn't a ton of turnover and they had a decent offseason already. But then look behind them. You got a new quarterback, new running back, 2 of the 3 new primary wide receivers. Tight end number 2 is new. I mean, it's a lot of turnover, and that's a lot. And a new offensive coordinator. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm going to be a little bit more patient than most people would. All right, we're coming. I like to do this between 30 and 45 minutes. I do want to hit one more thing. Let me pull it up here real quick. So yesterday for you guys, and there may be more news that comes out at this point from here on out, but I'm going to pull this up from Brad Biggs. Let me make it bigger for you guys. Brad Biggs. Bears had 8 players in for tryouts today at House Hall, including 4 wide receivers, Karis Jackson, Cornelius Johnson, Jordan Curley, and David Wallace. Also included were quarterback Gavin Hardison, tight ends Armani Rogers, and Joel Wilson. Armani Rogers, I'll show you why I have an affinity there. And defensive back Demarion Williams, who's got some experience. I didn't even know he was a free agent at this point. And defensive back Demarius Williams. Now, they always like their defensive backs. Now, I haven't pulled all these guys up. In fact, we're going to do that a little bit on here. I like to do that a lot with you guys. Let's pull up by player. I got to switch screens here, don't I? All right, so let's get out of this. Now, let me show her real quick. Free talk. This is what we do. Down below, tryouts early in the season are routine, and in many cases, they are opportunities for a team to evaluate players in order to update free agent emergency lists or consider potential practice squad moves. So Brad Biggs, very level-headed. So I appreciate this. You can see down below. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Oh, I actually replied to this guy. Not one guard or center. Why? To be clear, no centers and guards were brought in to try out, and even Brad Biggs is annoyed by this. Was there anything unclear about what I posted? There aren't any centers out there, no offensive line. I'm not exaggerating when I say this fan base is freaking out over the stupidest crap without understanding the basis of it. But no O lineman, especially a center. No offensive line. Can we get a center? No centers, eh? I'm not making this up, guys. Like, people are freaking out. No O line, nice. Why are we trying out tight ends? Someone's out. Waldron already trying to find more guys to play over Komet. Crazy. I mean, it's a little bit wild, to be honest. A little bit wild the way people are a little overreactionary. All right, let me share here. Share screen. Let's go and look at player search. Let's do this. By player. Search for player. In fact, let me pull up that on my phone so that I can look at the names as we search them. So, Armani Rogers. Tight end. Shows us with the Eagles. No snaps in 2023. Not really any snaps in 2022 either. 6'5", 225 pounds. Nothing 2024. All right, so nothing really exciting to look at there. We'll look at, I don't even know who Gavin Hardison is. Last with Miami, apparently. Nothing there. Let's look at practice preseason. Does he ever have any preseason stats? Nope. Let's look at NCAA. Played for UTEP Miners. And last year, so he's a rookie. So they're just bringing him in for tryout. Wasn't even a starter for them. Quarterback. Oh, let's look at passing grades. All right, so there we go. Nothing crazy, nothing special. But one of the things that sticks out, sorry, I'm doing this with you guys on the fly, but one of the things that sticks out is they may be looking for a replacement for Velus on kickoff returns. People get running away with that stuff too. They're just looking at options at this point. That's why I didn't make a video on it, because it's all speculative, and it's really kind of people running away with stuff. Played for Georgia, Karis Jackson. Let's actually go to the NFL. 2023. Let's go to preseason. No grades there. Speedster returner. Anyways. All right. The one that everybody's looking at was David Wallace. Sorry if this is kind of the boring part of the video. This is kind of the stuff I do behind the scenes, though, guys. This is some of the stuff that I play with and get involved in. This is passing grades. That's why. Let's show kick returns. So here's the preseason with him. 53-yard return against Philadelphia. on the kickoff return. So some good kickoff return ability there. 11 returns, 7 kickoff returns, 202 yards, 53 long, 28.9 yards per attempt. So that's what they could be looking at David Wallace for. Let's see who he played for in college. Well, he wouldn't in 2024, so that's why it's rejecting me. You're talking about sign in. I am signed in. Get out of here. All right, I'll have to do this another time. Sign me in by Google. Don't know why it logged me out right here while I'm doing this with you guys. By player, David Wallace. What the heck? It's not liking these search parameters, is it? Don't have anything there. 2024 Patriots by the free agent round. All right. So, anyways, they might be looking for someone to replace Velus. I'm not sold that's what's going to happen. But just like Brad Biggs said, tryouts early in the season are routine. In many cases, they are opportunities for a team to evaluate players in order to update free agents, to be able to have emergency lists or consider potential practice squad moves. So I'm not panicked by any of that. Just showing it because it is what's happening right now. It's where the team is at. So, all right, we're going to wrap this up. I just want to show one more time where things stand. We're right now we're a 7-point underdogs. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Bears are going to be just fine this week. I have us winning this game. I've changed my tune on it. I really do believe the defense will hold them down. And if the offense can get clicking, that's the key. I know all of us are nervous about it. I'm nervous about it. I want to see it. I want it to be done. We're all going to be freaking out when he gets his first touchdown. We're all going to be freaking out when he throws it to DJ Moore. I'm going to say it's DJ Moore at this point. DJ Moore is going to get that first touchdown. It could have been Keenan. Sorry, Keenan Allen. You dropped that. Should have been you, but you dropped it. DJ Moore is now going to get the first touchdown. Maybe Cole Kmet. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Who's going to have the first passing touchdown by the Bears, by Caleb Williams in week 2 versus the Houston Texans? I also want to know your guys' prediction. I've got the Bears winning 24-17. That's my prediction on this game. The Bears are going to win 24-17, and the defense is going to lead the way again. I don't think the defense will get a touchdown. I think the Bears are going to score 3 offensive touchdowns, and they're going to get the ball moving more on the ground. I think the Titans really stymied our game plan by shutting down the run. We started getting some outside runs going at the end of the game. I think DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert need to be a lot more of the game plan this week. Maybe even Velus on some jet sweeps. Maybe even Velus a couple of the inside runs. We'll see. But I do think the ground and pound is going to get going a little bit more. I think Caleb's going to have, I'm going to say 220 yards passing. He's going to have a touchdown, and we'll have 2 running touchdowns on the ground, and then we'll have a field goal. We'll win 24-17, and I think it's going to be more offensive, but the defense is going to hold them to 17, and holding the Texans to 17 points is big. So I think it'll be a fun game. I'm excited for it. Let me know your guys' predictions in the comments because I want to see how you guys align up with what I'm thinking. I know a lot of people are down on this team right now and counting this as an automatic loss. I'm more excited about what we saw because of the Titans, because of our defense. Think about how well the defense did. If the offense gets clicking, gets up to speed, then they're both on the same tune. Then we're clicking. Then you see some big things. Week 3 against the Colts is not an easy win for me. They played the Texans really well. The Rams played the Lions really well. So these first 4 weeks are the big test, and that's what we need to see out of the Bears. So I'm excited for it. Free Talk Tuesday on a Wednesday. Sorry about that once again. We'll try to do next Tuesday. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment. I appreciate all of you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun this week. I'm going to be traveling here soon, so I will try to get some stuff out. But if I don't, enjoy the game. Sunday Night Football, going to be a lot of fun. Till next time, dabears.